in his state's holiday parade until they put Christ in the event title. Until they do that, he won't participate. Yeah. So everybody get ready for this winter's Christ, It's Cold Out parade. All right.
That is Conan O'Brien's lame attempt to drive up his ratings by hitching himself to the enormous celebrity and star power of our next guest, Senator James Inhofe of Oklahoma. Senator, good morning.
Well, good morning. Is Fred with you there?
Yeah, that's it. I just got done talking to you. How soon they forget?
Okay.
All right.
They told me that you weren't going to do it, and I thought, here's Fred, my old classmate, bagging me.
Listen, I would never do that.
I know that.
I would never do that. But I did want, when I saw this story, I wanted you on the show, because when I saw this, I said, now this is in keeping. Jim Inhofe believes in Christmas as much as he doubts global warming.
Yes.
And is now willing to walk the walk, or I should say ride the horse to prove it. But you were the mayor of Tulsa, weren't you?
Yeah, and Fred, I've been riding in that parade. There are only two things I do well: fly airplanes and ride horses. And I ride in the parades. I've been doing it for 3 decades, and you know my family, 20 kids and grandkids, and I always take one of them with me, one of the little kids up in the saddle with me. And
yeah.
Up until last year, now it wasn't this year, and this is why I wonder this year why this became such an issue, because last year when they called me up and said, well, I assume you're going to be riding the parade, and I said no, because they changed the name, and so, I figure if Christ isn't going to be there, I'm not going to be there.
But this is what I don't understand. I can understand political correctness in an eastern city like Washington or New York, even though Philadelphia just put Christ back into Christmas or put Christmas back up on their holiday parade. But why Tulsa? What has happened to Tulsa? I thought Oklahoma was somewhat immune from political correctness.
It's kind of interesting because all the surrounding communities in Tulsa, they say, we want you to come to ride in our Christmas parade, and it's just in Tulsa, and there's a little silk stocking group there that just wants to be politically correct, and I can't answer that question. I asked the same thing. If this were in Boston or it's in some other place, I could understand it, but not in Tulsa.
Well, do you have a reason? Did anybody give you an explanation of why they changed it?
No, they haven't. Here, the thing is, it's not really a political decision. It's the sponsors, those who pay for it. It used to be an electric company, and they dropped out last year, and that's when the name, I guess, it changed with a different sponsor coming on, who, in his or her mind, decided that this should be a different parade.
I'm glad you're doing this.
By the way, this is a huge parade, Fred. This is not, and it's something I always did look forward to. And
well, do you expect them to cave? Before the holidays, when actually is the parade?
The 11th.
So they don't have much time to change their mind then?
No, they don't. But that could happen. It's really stirred things up. I didn't think it would. In fact, I really didn't think it would, because it was a year ago that this change was made.
Now the sponsor, from what I understand, is a new sponsor this year, and the owner of that company said, hey, this was not my decision to change the name. The name had already been changed, and we decided to be a sponsor because we were being told that, hey, if nobody sponsors it, there won't be a parade.
That could be, and the other reason could be that it sponsors a very large restaurant, and maybe they're concerned about their business.
Yeah. Well, I would.
And I don't know that that's true. I don't know who made the decision. I assume it's the sponsor, because they're the ones who call the shots as a general rule, and I don't even know the sponsors. I knew the old ones, but not the new ones.
Well, it's been my impression that to some degree the war against Christmas was beginning to subside. The other story this morning is that, as I reported earlier, Mayor Michael Nutter in Philadelphia said, hey, it's not a holiday parade. We're going to go back to a Christmas parade.
Well, bless his heart. I didn't know that.
So maybe he'll allow you to ride in that parade, because that'd be great to see you ride down Walnut Street. Yeah. But whether or not that happens, I wanted to go to the other thing that we normally talk to you about, of course, is about climate talks. And you apparently have decided you're also not going to attend the big climate talk in Cancun, sponsored by the UN. Now, last year, of course, in Copenhagen, you were there and kind of talking against Al Gore and climate change. Why aren't you going?
Last year, I have to say this, Fred. I went to Copenhagen.
Yeah.
We had the meeting with Lisa Jackson, the director of EPA.
Sure.
Right before we left, and I said, Madam Director, I have a feeling that when I leave town to go to Copenhagen, you're going to have a direction, an endangerment finding, and if so, what is that going to be based on? And she said, well, in the IPCC, that's the United Nations. So yeah. I went on, and sure enough, they had the finding, and coincidentally, and I had nothing to do with it, but the Climate Gate came out while I was there. So I went to Copenhagen. I was on the ground there 2.5 hours. I immediately followed Obama, Pelosi, Hillary, Kerry, and that crowd, and they'd all told them that we're going to pass something. And I would say, I came here to be a one-man truth squad. I think we had counted 120 cameras we had at that time, and they all had only one thing in common. They all hated me. And so I went ahead and said, under no circumstances, I told the 191 other nations, are we going to pass anything? And obviously I was right. I knew I was going to be right. But now, in getting back to Cancun, that would be a lot nicer. It was awful cold in Copenhagen.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And however, the reason I didn't go is, number one, it looks like we're going to have that vote. Could very well be, and that's the tax vote I couldn't miss. And the other reason is nobody's down there. I mean, what do they do down there other than go swimming? They just look on their website, and you'll see the biggest party probably in history down there. The worst crisis that happened in Copenhagen is they ran out of caviar. I mean, we have people coming from countries to these United Nations. This is the 16th annual ball. And they'll come. They don't know anything about it. A lot of them don't know anything about global warming. They don't really care about it. But it's the biggest party in the country, so they go. So anyway, no, I decided last night I would not go down there. So I cut a video. I'll be speaking tonight. I'll be doing a live speech. Some way tonight.
Well, okay. All the Bush tax cuts, and the extension of them, when do you expect the vote to happen, and what is going to happen?
What is going to happen is we're trying to very hard to work with the administration and say there are only two things we have to do to keep from repeating last year's performance of working all the way up through Christmas Eve. That is, we have to extend government. We can do that with a CR, or they could try for an omnibus. I don't know what their plan is. And the other thing is to do something about the tax cuts. People, Fred, who are my age or older, I said, if you're going to die, be sure you do it before December 31st.
That's right.
But I am absolutely convinced that we're going to have extensions. We're going to be handling these things because it's so politically hot that I don't think there are many Democrats who want to go along with voting, in essence, voting for a tax increase in the middle of a recession.
Well, today in the House, supposedly, they're going to try and force a vote that is just on the middle income, everything below $250,000. Are they going to get anywhere with something like that?
Well, class warfare is alive and well. I kind of don't think so because people now understand that when they talk about the super rich, they're really talking about the people who are providing the jobs.
Yeah.
I think that message has gotten out there. I feel confident.
All right. Merry Christmas to you. By the way, when you put out your Christmas displays, do you use those energy-efficient LED lights for your house? No.
I could have answered that question. All right. Well, Merry Christmas, Jim.
I think you could replace Conan one day as well. 8:15 on the Grandy Group.